Okay, that was me being excited. Why am I excited? Because we are in the first 718 Spyder in the UK. Wow! I thought my car looked good, and then I saw this, and I'm like, I want one of these. I haven't even driven it yet, and I want one. Now let's go around the car very quickly and show you what's different from my car. So the first difference is this rear diffuser. Absolutely incredible. It would be better if it was in carbon, but it looks fantastic. It just gives the car, the back of the car, much more aggressive style, I think. Now, this one has the fixed carbon bucket seats. I don't find these very comfortable. My one's got the comfort seats, and this one's got leather steering wheel, so you can have that in Alcantara, but he's opted for leather. New wheel design, and he's gone for the carbon ceramics, which I love carbon ceramics. Now my car doesn't have carbon ceramics because most people didn't actually opt for carbon ceramics on the Boxster Spyder, because if something goes wrong with these, they are ridiculously expensive to repair. But unsprung mass, lighter on each wheel, it's going to be much nicer to drive with less weight on each wheel. So I thought what we'd do is a little comparison of the two cars side by side, old and new. I mean, this does have the ceramic discs on it, but you can see how big they are and how they fill up the whole of the wheel. Yeah, you see that? Now, come over to my car and look at this puny little disc inside. So I think that gives the illusion that the actual alloys are bigger on that car, but they're not. These are 20-inch alloys. So actually they're the same size. I thought these were 19, but they're 20-inch. They've also made this a little bit more aggressive, so this now looks like the GT3 at the front. These have just started coming into the country. This is one of the first, I think, maybe the first. This is from Porsche Colchester, owned by my friend Mark. Go follow him. We'll put his Instagram on the screen now. So other than the rear diffuser, the front spoiler, the wheels, obviously it's got the lights from the 718. Apart from that, it looks pretty much the same. Yeah, everything's the same other than that. Obviously, it's got the 4-litre engine now rather than the 3.8-litre, still naturally aspirated, manual gearbox. I do believe a PDK version is coming next year. And this is now 420 brake horsepower, which is quite a lot more than mine. Mine's about 370 or 375. So quite a big jump, but this is slightly heavier as well. So let's see what it's like to drive. I'm very excited to drive this car. I love my Boxster Spyder, and this should be just a better version of my Boxster Spyder, and I'm hoping it's going to live up to the expectations. I'm hoping. CJ. So let's run through a few of the things that they've changed. So the suspension is the biggest one. GT3 suspension now at the front, which the last car didn't have, and the last car was a lot softer. This car feels much, much nicer on the road. Doesn't bounce around at all. My car bounces around a lot. And when you go into a corner, it gives you a lot more confidence, and it's a lot more hunkered down the car. So suspension improvement, much better, much better. Now the second big change, the engine. My engine came from the 911 Carrera 3.8 Carrera S, and it sounded incredible. This one is a new development. So they've removed the turbos and given it a 4-litre engine, and you know what? You can't hear the engine. Now this car doesn't have Sport Plus because it's in Sport all of the time, and you can't hear the engine. When you're on the downshifts, even with the auto blip on, you don't hear that lovely engine that mine's got. So this is still naturally aspirated, but they've got now particulate filters in for emission laws, and it really has killed the sound. It's killed it. Shame. Shame. So that's the second thing. The third thing is the interior. They've improved the interior. They've added this lovely new screen to the front and added CarPlay, which is really, really nice. Nothing else has really changed on the interior of the car apart from these little air vents. And this one's got lovely touches on it. It's got the yellow door grab, yellow stitching, and even yellow on the Sport Chrono, which is really nice little touch. The speed, even though it's up to 420 brake horsepower, is not noticeable at all. This car, I believe, is heavier, and therefore that negates from the extra power that they've got in the car. Now I can't take this car beyond 6,000 RPM because it's only done 180 miles, and the owner picked it up yesterday. So big thanks to Mark for lending me the keys to his car. Really, really nice. I think the best thing that they've done to this car is actually the exterior styling. I really like the back of the car. I think it looks a lot more aggressive than the 981 Spyder. I think that's a huge improvement, and I really like the little styling touches on the front that gives it a much more aggressive look, more like the GT3. I guess you could put an exhaust on it, make it sound better. Yeah, the handling's a lot tighter now on this one. Surprising that it doesn't feel faster, actually. Surprising. I'm gonna stop talking now. I'm gonna enjoy the car, and I'm gonna give you a sum up once I jump out.
What's really interesting about having the two cars back to back is that when I jumped back into my own car, I realized that the chassis was much more entertaining and much more fun than the new model, even though the new setup with the GT3 front suspension is a more accomplished car and better through the corners. The old model still puts a bigger smile on your face.
Well, I'm going to jump out and give a full review of this car. I find it quite difficult to film whilst I'm driving. Don't know how other people do it. Okay, handbrake. That wouldn't be funny if it rolled backwards. Okay, so the 718 Boxster Spyder. Jay, if you take a step back, I want people to see this car again. I think the best thing about this car is the styling. I love the look of this car. I hate to say it, but I think my car looks a bit girly now next to this car. Jay's not saying anything. Okay, so I love the front of this car. I love the new wheels, and I love the design of the rear of the car. I really like the design of it. I think it gives it a muscular look over the old Boxster Spyder. I think the old Boxster Spyder, and I've said this in previous videos, looks a little bit soft, a little bit girly. It's a great car to drive. Now, I'm going to start by saying this. I think the Boxster Spyder is one of the best driver's cars on the road. Take any brand into consideration because it's got a manual gearbox a naturally aspirated engine, and you can put the roof down. That for me gives it 3 ingredients which makes it one of the best driver's cars. Is this better than my car? Yes and no. So the suspension on this car is a lot better. The turning is better and the actual ride quality is better. In my car, when you're driving along, you feel a little bit bumpy and it kind of doesn't sit on the road very well, actually. And I think they did that on purpose because they wanted it to feel different to the GT4. The GT4 feels hunkered down. The Boxster Spyder doesn't, which makes it slightly better road car. But this one feels perfect on the road. It feels a bit more solid. I like it. I like the suspension upgrades. I don't like the sound. You can't hear the engine. In my car, you put it into Sport Plus, it's actually too loud. I don't actually put it in Sport Plus most of the time because it's loud enough without Sport Plus. But when I put Sport Plus on and I'm downshifting, the engine matching revs sound amazing. It really sounds fantastic. This car, you can't hear the engine when it's downshifting, even with the auto blip on. So if you're going to buy this car, you have to get an aftermarket exhaust because the exhaust on this is a thumbs down. That's as nice as I can be on camera. Inside the cabin is slightly nicer. They've got this new screen with the Apple Play, CarPlay, which is really nice. I really like that. And I still love the car. So it gets a thumbs up and a thumbs down. If you're prepared to put an aftermarket exhaust on this, then yes. It actually feels like a more grown-up version of my car. They've refined this car. Not sure about the engine, but I love the look of this car. I think it's really turned into one of the best looking sports cars on the road. I want to thank Mark again for letting me drive his brand new car, which he only collected yesterday. And please subscribe, please follow, please comment, please share, please like. We'll see you soon.